Imagine, just for a second, there's this massive marathon taking place right in the middle of your city. I mean, thousands of people register. The excitement is totally palpable. Some folks go out and buy the absolute best, most expensive running shoes on the market. Others, they spend their evenings watching endless motivational videos just to get hyped up. Some prep the most meticulous, perfectly calculated diet plan to fuel their bodies. And some, well, they just keep telling their friends, yeah, I'm going to start training tomorrow. But then race day finally arrives, and you look around, and a huge chunk of those exact same people, they never even reach the starting line. Okay, let's dive into this, because honestly, it sounds like a completely ridiculous question, right? Can you win a race you never participate in? No way, of course not. It's literally impossible. Yet, as obvious as that sounds, this is exactly how so many of us live our everyday lives. We dream incredibly big. We plan incredibly big. But we never actually take that terrifying, exciting first step over the starting line. And that brings us to the core theme of today's explainer. We're going to break down exactly why participation, just simply showing up and entering the race of life, is infinitely more important than focusing solely on winning. Because, let's be real, before you can ever be a winner, you've got to be a participant. Section 1. The planning trap, when preparation becomes procrastination. So, we need to talk about a very hidden, really sneaky danger that catches almost all of us. Look, planning is important. Preparation is super important. But there's this really fine line where preparation secretly morphs into a very sophisticated excuse to delay taking any actual action. We fall into these incredibly common mental traps, right? We tell ourselves things like, I just need one more certification, or I need to take just one more online course before I'm ready. We convince ourselves we need years more experience, or we drop the ultimate delay tactic. I'll start when I become totally confident. But confidence, it doesn't work like a software update you just download before you start. While we're busy waiting for that absolute perfect feeling of readiness, look at the rhythmic loss of time that's actually taking place. Days spent planning turn into weeks of waiting. Those weeks just seamlessly blend into months of making slightly more rationalized excuses. And before you know it, years have gone by. It's a massive missed opportunity. And one day you wake up and realize the window has passed. And not because you tried and failed, but simply because you never actually tried at all. And this brilliantly illustrates one of the most vital concepts you really need to remember. Over-planning creates the illusion of progress while keeping you exactly where you are. Think about it. You feel tired, you feel busy, your brain is absolutely full of strategies and plans, so you feel highly productive. But in reality, your feet haven't moved a single inch. You're completely stuck. Moving on to section 2, failure versus regret, the reality of taking action. Now, we really need to shift our focus away from what holds most people back, which is this intense fear of failure. People are absolutely terrified of looking foolish or losing. But failure, that isn't the ultimate enemy here. The actual worst-case scenario is regret. Let's imagine two people side by side. Person A takes the leap, right? They start a business. It doesn't work out. They fail. But along the way, they were forced to learn sales, marketing, finance, communication, negotiation, and just massive resilience. Now look at person B. Person B keeps meticulously planning their business for 5 straight years. They never launch, they never start. So who actually grew more in those 5 years? Obviously, it's person A, because true, deep experience only ever comes through action in the real world. So the crucial point is this: life rewards movement, not perfection. Even a completely flawed, messy, totally failed attempt at a goal is going to yield dramatically far more personal growth and knowledge than the absolute most perfect strategy of inaction ever could. Section 3. Action creates confidence, reversing the formula. Let's address a massive misconception out there: the idea that confidence has to precede action. I mean, think back to your very first job interview, or maybe your first driving lesson, or the first time you had to do a public speech. Were you overflowing with natural confidence? Probably not. You were likely terrified. But doing it created the actual mechanical formula for success. You don't start at step 3. You absolutely must start at step 1, action. Taking action is what creates the experience in step 2. And that real-world experience is literally the only thing that can genuinely build the natural confidence we see in step 3. Then, and only then, that hard-earned confidence is what finally paves the way to step 4, success. Just look around at the people at the top of their game. We're talking successful athletes, visionary entrepreneurs, brilliant creators, impactful leaders. Do you really think they won every single time they stepped onto the field or into the boardroom? Absolutely not. Every single winner was once a beginner. They failed, they lost, they made incredibly public mistakes. But they kept participating. Every competition made them stronger, and every failure improved their next attempt.
Section 4, your next move, applying the 50% rule. All right, let's bring this down to your reality today. Think about your next move. Maybe you've been putting off starting a YouTube channel, or maybe you're endlessly updating your resume without ever actually applying for that dream job just because you don't hit every single bullet point. Or maybe you're putting off learning AI, writing your first LinkedIn post, or finally taking the leap to change careers. I really want you to look at that delayed goal and ask yourself, am I waiting to become perfect? Because if you are, I've got to be honest with you, perfection never actually arrives. The perfect time simply does not exist, but progress does. And progress only begins the moment you decide to participate.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the challenge it presents. I challenge you to apply this simple rule starting today, the 50% rule. Don't wait until you feel 100% ready. If you feel 50% ready, just start. Force yourself into the arena, because I promise you, you're going to learn the remaining 50% along the way out of pure necessity. Which brings us to one of the most powerful, foundational truths you can ever internalize. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to become great. Imperfect action will beat perfect planning every single time, without exception. So let's lock in the core takeaways from today's explainer. Remember this dynamic. Winning is an amazing feeling, for sure, but it's temporary. Learning, however, the growth you get from simply showing up, that is permanent. And participation is the ultimate key, the massive engine that creates both the learning and the eventual winning. The simple truth is, the world doesn't remember the people who planned forever in the shadows. It remembers the people who had the sheer courage to simply begin. If this message resonated with you, if it sparked something, please hit subscribe to the channel for more insights on career growth, AI, and personal development just like this explainer. I want to leave you with this final, lingering thought to chew on today. Look at your biggest goal right now and ask yourself, are you still waiting for the perfect time? Seriously, don't let fear keep you out of the race. Share this explainer with someone in your life who really needs to hear this right now. Until the next explainer, keep learning, keep growing, and most importantly, keep participating.